All right. And on my end, we're broadcasting. So, what's up, everybody? And welcome to episode 3 of Practical Pivot. I'm your host, Sean Flack 2.0. And with me via satellite slash hangouts, I got my co host, Mike.
Yes, sir. How goes it?
It's another beautiful week. Just real quick on today's episode, we're going to be talking about what does the life you want look like, and what are you doing, and are you doing enough to get there? But before we get into it, I just wanted to say thank you for listening. If you stumbled upon our podcast or our show, you could like, subscribe, share on YouTube. You could also follow us on Twitter at Practical Pivot. Um, so let's just kind of get into the conversation here. So, Mike, how'd your previous week go?
Well, it went all right, man. Just a lot of the same old same. One of the things we trying to change this year, right? But overall, I don't have too much to complain about, man. It was a pretty decent week, definitely a productive week as far as work is concerned, and even just some stuff around the house, man. Just some things I wanted to tackle that I got done. So, how about you?
Man, it's the same, and it's why we're here because I don't want it to be the same anymore. I mean, I think I think we've had a couple discussions during this week, or just some quick messages back and forth. How we're just ready to make that change, to make those practical pivots, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right. So, obviously you came up with the topic today, so I'm going to go ahead and let you start up the discussion. So, what you got, Mike?
Okay, yeah. So as Sean mentioned, the question that we have for today is, what does the life you want look like, and are you doing enough to get there? Well, the second part of that question, I think we can both agree that we haven't been, and so that's why we're doing this, in order to kind of motivate ourselves and to get the right frame of mind and put action behind what it is that we want to do, and our thoughts and our ideas, and make things happen. But as far as just what my life would look like, how I envision my future. Um, for me, I'm not like a really extravagant person. I'm kind of a simple dude. I don't need a lot. But I just want a stress-free life. And I know realistically, in order to get there, I'm gonna have to go through a lot of stress. Um, so it's sort of one of those things, you suffer now for the reward later, right?
Right.
So I guess for me, like, as far as materialistic stuff, of course I want a house. I'd love to have a nice car, things of that. But I don't need a huge house. I don't need, a $300,000 car, nothing like that at all. I just want my house to be paid for, a house that I'm happy with. Doesn't have to be really big. As we've discussed before, I definitely don't want any debt, no debt at all. I like time to be able to do things that I want to do, just more time. And I'm in a position where I can dictate how my time is used. I'm not asking somebody else, hey, excuse me, can I get this day off or that day off? Like,
Right.
I want to be able to dictate my time, what it's used for. That I guess those are just like some of the basics. Of course, I want to be able to go shopping, and like I said, have a decent car, something that's
Well, let me ask,
reliable.
like you talked about time, like what? I mean, I'm pretty sure we there's a gang of things that we both want to do,
Mhm.
but if give me something out of your top five you would be spending your time on.
Well, I actually want my own. I want my own business, but not necessarily. I guess for me, give me an internet connection, a device, and let me go make money wherever I'm at. I don't want to have to commute and go somewhere. So that's just dead time.
Oh,
Hour on the road here,
right.
45 minutes commuting, whatever the case is. That's just dead time. So I'd like to just, have, like I said, a device. I could maybe I'm hitting up Starbucks for 2 or 3 hours and chilling in there, and getting some work done. And I might decide to leave, go do something at my daughter's school, volunteer, do something there for an hour. Then head over somewhere else and go, again, whip out the device, get my internet connection going and making money still, you know? Um, I just want that flexibility. That's really what it is.
Okay. All right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I can go into more, man, but I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay. What do I want my life to look like? Actually, um, I really didn't think about that until you actually brought that question up. And this is not just recently, I think years ago when we used to sit down and have conversations. And I always chased something. I would, okay, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna get that. Then I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna get that. And as I found that I was chasing stuff, once I got it, like the chase never ended. Like I wanted something else and I wanted something
Hmm.
else. So then the race never ended. The race, I mean the rat race, like, oh, I need to work hard, I need to work hard. And I'm pretty much on the same tip with you. Like once you kind of put that mind frame in my head, I wanted to have more control over my time. And some of the things that I would like to do is I like to produce, I like to create. So I would spend a lot of time writing, jotting down ideas, brainstorming on the next big IP. Maybe be the next. I know I sent you the next J.K. Rowling.
Hmm.
Something, some kind of story, something that that is meaningful and entertaining at the same time.
Hmm.
I'd want to spend my time doing that. And I could do that in exactly the same fashion you could with anywhere with a device. I could record or type some stuff up at the Starbucks or whatever. I'm a big time dad. So you hit that, oh well, if I want to volunteer, I'm volunteering that day. I'm not asking for the day off or you just kind of go do your thing and then whatever again, for me, it'd be an intellectual property and an IP that I would, write or create or produce that would allow me that time to, sell it, let it sit there, let it run, let it play, do its thing, create that money and that freedom for me as well. Um, Materialistically, it's the same thing. I really just want a simple life. And I think that's where me and you really connect. We don't want it'd be nice to have millions, but we don't need millions.
All right.
I think
All
it's more, and that's why I really respect your opinions and I love having discussions with you because of that. You're not like, oh, I got to get a Bugatti and I got to go get this yacht. And I understand some people that's they hustle and that's that hustle and what is it, mind frame.
right. Hmm.
I'm just gonna hustle, 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 hustle. Me, I want to work smarter, not harder. I want to do the things I enjoy doing. And then maybe when I find out that, what, I'm done doing that, let me go do something else. I have that same freedom again, just like what you want. So, um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I really couldn't agree with you more on a lot of those points. So, yeah, nothing new on this side.
Yes, it's easy to get caught up, and start chasing just the materialistic stuff. And like I said, don't get it twisted. Like I would love to have some, nice stuff. If I was sitting out here just balling out of control, I probably would have some, some toys and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
it's different to be in a financial place to where you can afford those things and they're a fraction of your net worth versus working 18 to 20 hours a day just to get something materialistic.
Right,
Like for me, that's like you said, that's like a losing battle because it's always going to be something better and bigger and cooler.
right,
So if you can't find a way to be content with what you have, you'll never be happy.
right,
So for me, like again, I don't need I don't need that much stuff. But I think just having a peace of mind and knowing like, all right, I don't have any debt, you get your house paid for, things like just the simple stuff. It makes doing anything else so much easier. If you want to free your time up, well, now I don't have X amount of dollars going out to pay this person, that person, this bank, this credit union. I don't have all these different things going out. I can pull back and free up some of my time and do some of the things that I want to do.
Right. And I
So
think you definitely hit that point about getting rid of debt and not needing to have the work or being able to take less work to free up more time because you don't need. So, yeah, totally agree on that.
So, with that said, though, do you think at this point in your life, or at this very moment, do you feel like you're doing enough to get to the place or to the life that you want?
Now, to answer that question, you know what? I'm going to be a little, I don't know if you want to call it cocky or confident or whatever, but I want to say I am. And my example for that and why I even say this is because I've realized my fault and or my flaw is to chase something material, have that mindset that hustle, 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 work, 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 get it, and then so for me, my win, my practical pivot is changing my mindset, and I would have to say recognizing I'm at a place right now where I don't really want anything. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
basically bought everything, and let me not say bought because it's not bought. It's financed. I'm going to be honest with it. Yes, I have a car loan out, and I have a loan on this and a loan on that. So it's not bought and paid for, but I have attained it and I've gotten it. And but I'm at a point now where I realize my flaw about always, oh, let me get the newest thing, let me upgrade, let me get this, let me get that. And then I've gotten a point in my life, and even with my wife, and we talked about it, there there really doesn't need to be any big purchases besides the house, because currently we rent.
Mm-hmm.
But the next big purchase is the house, and that's it. As far as like anything else materialistic, um, yeah, there's nothing I'm really chasing at this point. And I guess that comes with having kids. It's like I know the bills are going to get bigger because I know as they get older, they're going to require more. But as far as materialistic things and just like just like what you said, content with what I have and knowing, you know, that's not the goal of why I'm working.
All right.
That's not yet. So I think again that practical pivot is just that mindset change and that realization that what you were looking at this all wrong for like the last what is it 17 years I'll say
Mm-hmm.
of my real adult life. You didn't have to just chase because you were never going to win the race. You're just going to chase something else. So at this point in my life, 37 years old, I think I'm making a step in the right direction. If not a step, I'm at least looking in the right direction. I'll say that. So I'm gonna take that win. So
Okay.
yeah. What about you, Mike? How are you feeling about your situation?
Nah, I'm not doing enough. I mean, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like I I know it's so much more I could be doing. And because I still spend on stuff that I haven't really made the complete transition to needs versus wants, right? So
Mhm.
um I honestly don't know if that's something that I can realistically just cold turkey do. I don't buy too much BS, but I do buy some stuff that, like, really, did you really need to buy that?
Right.
I'm cheap when I do it, but
Trust
I
me, I
do
know,
it.
Mike. You're always looking for a deal. I know.
But I still do it.
Right.
So that's definitely something that I can improve on. But overall, I feel like kind of like what you said. I'm taking those first initial steps to getting to a place to where yeah, I am doing enough. But I can always do more. I can always improve.
Okay. Um, I would like to touch on, like mindset. We actually um because I feel that's where my win
Mhm.
is the mindset. Is just, you know, accepting that flaw and then kind of moving forward with it and being content with what I got. Or looking a little bit past materialistic things than anything else. Like, oh, I don't got to get the newest thing. So as far as like mindset goes, we actually almost, and I'm gonna bring this up even though you were like, I don't really, but we almost canceled today's recording, and that's just being truthful to our listeners.
Hmm.
Um, but I just wanted to, I made a comment in our last episode, and if you haven't checked it out, don't be afraid to go back and look at episode 2. Um, that if you want to run fast, you run alone, and if you want to run far, you run together. And it's we found a way to kind of bootleg our recording so we could still kind of meet our obligations of being with our families, but at the same time taking time out to do this. And I just want to reiterate, like, you know, if you can find a support group or somebody that you could team up with that could help you keep consistent. And I want to say, like, didn't we talk about consistency in one of our episodes, Mike?
I believe so, but very briefly, very
Okay.
briefly.
Well, being consistent with something, making it a habit, talking about having open discussions about, things that we're talking about, I think help keep us on the right track and keep us in that mind frame of, you just identified that you're not doing enough. And, just like, the flaw that I was like, I just kept chasing too much shit. And, being honest with it. But anyway, just want to point out like the whole mind frame and the mindset. And, if you can find somebody that may be in your potentially your same situation with your same value or vision, uh, then get with them and get that support group going so that you can keep each other on track. Because I really did not want to, because I knew, okay, it's our third week. Let's do it. Let's just even if we don't feel like doing it, once we get done with the recording, it'll be a whole lot better. So
Yeah, and I told you, man. That's what I respect about you, big time. Is that you just go, man. Like, you, if you had a pinhole camera and a banana for a mic, you'd still be like, man, I'm about to record. I'm gonna make this happen.
right.
So I respect you 100% for that, man. And yeah, so just to keep it all the way, yeah, I really wasn't up to recording today because just some stuff going on. Like I don't really feel like I was in the right mindset to record, and I was just tired too, man. I
Right. Me too.
just tired, but but yeah, nevertheless, you put it out there like, man, let's just do it. We could wait a couple more days, but why wait? And that's sort of one of those things that it's like, are you doing enough to get there? And I can't really say that I am if I was willing to just, you know, be like, nah, not tonight. It's like you gotta go, you gotta make it happen. And so yeah, man, thank you. Thank
Well, shit, thank you, because I can't have a show without you, and I'm not gonna have a show without you. So, you know, um, okay, what there is something I did want to ask, like, maybe just looking back, and maybe you didn't think about it until I'm about to ask the question to you, but what do you think is like a good format or a good formula, or maybe a step in the right direction? What kind of advice would you give yourself? Knowing the way you feel today, or how you feel about your situation, what advice would you give yourself to push you in the right direction?
you. That's a good question. I guess for every moment or for every hour that I'm willing to put something aside or put how can I say this? I guess for every moment or every hour that I'm willing to postpone doing what it is that I know I should be doing, then I need to expect that my life is not going to change for that same amount of time. Right. So I got
Well,
be like,
okay,
oh, let's put it off for a couple of days. Let's put it off for a week. Well, then that means a week longer of doing the same thing that you're doing right now. You
okay,
know, yeah, it's sort of one of those things. It's like if you wanna have some change in your life, you gotta be willing to take those steps and commit to it and just do it, you
okay,
know?
okay. When we did the pre-show before the broadcast, I did talk about, or I did make a statement. I thought about our topic a lot, and
Mhm.
about like doing enough. And my biggest thing is, because again, I'm gonna do a shameless plug. The Dad's Life podcast. I'm a dad. I'm always thinking about stuff, and of course, I have a 14-year-old that just racks my head sometimes. And I talked to him about some of the stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna share this on Practical Pivot because I think it's very relevant. So it's about goals. It's about when he's having some problems and he has ADHD. So we're working with him and I was like, well, how are we going to plan? What kind of plan are we going to make in order for you to be successful? And so I had to kind of break something down into something he could relate to. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring it up on the show. So what I told him is that making a goal or trying to be successful at something you want to do is like writing a 5-page, essay. You don't just start with the 5-page essay. That's the goal. That's the success part. That's what you come up with after the fact. And generally, how you start with, and I'm just gonna work because we're cutting short on time. Just gonna try to speed this up. Is you start off with brainstorming. You start off with the thought process, and you gather all these. You gather all of these thoughts and ideas, and then you kind of shuffle through them. You write a couple sentences here and there, and you brainstorm again, and you get a couple more sentences for the next page and things like that. And then you kind of write your you follow your outline. You write your rough draft, and through your rough draft, you have somebody else read it, or you make the corrections yourself, and then you make the final draft, which eventually becomes your 5-page essay. Then you turn it in, and then you get the kind of the grade that you get. And so he kind of understood, and I know we're gonna have to talk about it again, but I said, it's a process. It's like your goal is that 5-page essay, and when you're thinking about it initially, you're like, man, that is impossible. How am I going to write 5 pages on a topic that I don't know anything about? And I just told him, it's a process. So what we want to do is we want to be independently successful as entrepreneurs or creators or whatever, and that's what the goal is. But the mindset is you're not just going to overnight have 3 million followers. We're not going to overnight have 3 million followers. We're going to bootleg our thing together, and those will be all our ideas. And we have a path we want to take. That's going to be our outline. And then we're going to, do our rough draft and make corrections and make adjustments like we have been on the last couple shows, our little shakedown episodes and figuring out what's going to work and what's not. And then we put together our essay, then we get our grade. And then I told him the grade is going to be based on a couple things that keep it real simple. How much work did you put into it? How well did you plan? How well did you make corrections and adjust? And I think those are the three. I think that's anticlimactic there. But but it was, the process of putting something together, working at it. Did you listen and follow instructions? Like this was the outline and this is what the format it needed to be. This is how many words it needed to be. Did you plan it, put it together? Did you make the corrections? Did you look at your project, make the corrections and adjustments? And then how much work did you put into it? And I think those like 4 little things could help somebody reach a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, you're doing stuff like proofreading and things like that. You have other people, or you're tapping other resources to help you refine this. And I think that's what I feel like. I just said I'm not going to have a show without you because I feel that your input, your vision is what sparked some of the ideas I had. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have a show without Mike, and Mike's not feeling today, but I want to do a show today. So Mike, let's do this. So, so yeah, those are, it just kind of something I want to share, a little story I want to share, about the process, and trust the process, because I'm not going to say millions of people, but a lot of people have walked that path, have, started off with nothing and just made the plan, did it, took the criticism, made the adjustments, and then put out a product that was good enough to market. And and was successful. And if it's a major $1 million success, then good. And if it's not, if it's a, it's just like something I did, something I'm proud of, then that's the win as well. So,
Right.
just about that separate topic, I was like, oh yeah, what are some things, we don't feel like we're doing enough to get the life that we want. I truly feel that, these recordings and these discussions that we're having, and again, hopefully the feedback we get from it will continue having us walk down the right direction.
Right. No, I agree with that, man. I agree with that.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So that's basically all I had. That was my little big thing, even though it was anticlimactic. um, and you came up with the topic. Were there any final things that you want to talk about as far as that topic goes?
Well, I would say that I agree with a lot of what you were just saying. A lot of times it is easy to look at it what you envision the finished product to be and get discouraged. We kind of touched on this before, right?
Mhm.
Um, you're so focused on like the end goal that you're not really thinking about all the components and all of the little bitty things that you do in order to get there. And for us in the life that we want, it is about just taking those small victories and setting small goals and boom, nailing it, nailing it, nailing it, nailing it. And then eventually that our overall goal, we should be able to achieve that. If it doesn't turn out to be much and, after a year, we might have, you're talking about 3 million, it might be 13, but I mean, but again, that's, hey, it's something, right? It's 13 more than we have today. So,
That's correct. Yes.
it just depends on how you want to measure success, right?
Right. Right.
So, for myself, it's all, like you said, it's all a learning experience. And at the end of the day, as long as you can take away something from it positive, then you're on the right track.
Sounds like a plan to me. All right. So that's about all the time we have for today's episode. Thank you, Mike, for coming up with that good thought provoking topic. And of course, pushing through and recording with me this evening. So thank you for that.
Oh, for sure, man. For sure.
Shameless plug, check out the Dad's Light podcast. You can find that on Anchor FM. And I've been pushing Mike and you guys as, people who are watching the show, listening to the show, whatever you're doing to hear our message. I'm trying to push him to get Twitter or something so that you guys could directly talk to him and contact him. So push him if you're listening to this, like figure out a way to get in contact with the guy and be like, hey, we want to talk to you. We want you to have something we could talk to you directly with. So
all two of you.
Right. But you can follow us on Twitter at Practical Pivot. I have access, and so does Mike. So he'll get all the information if you want to hit us there. If you have any questions, comments, or emotional outbursts, again, hit us on Twitter. You can find us on SeanFlack.com. There's links to both Practical Pivot and the Dad's Life podcast on that on the website. I think that's it. I mean, of course, you have your email, practicalpivot@gmail.com if you want to hit us that way. And that's it. So until our next recording, we want to thank you for listening, and thank you, Mike, for showing up this evening. And until the next episode,
We out.
peace.
Peace.